So today, I would like to share my experience with my first ever real strength training program with you guys. The first real strength training program that I ever did was the Ice Cream Fitness 5x5, or more recently as it's been come to known as the Jason Blaha 5x5. I just want to talk about my experience with it, okay? So, if you guys have ever taken a look at the program, you will notice that there is a shit ton of volume in it. A shitload, a crap load of volume in it, okay? It is pretty much the Strongless 5x5 routine with a bunch of added accessory work, and it was meant to be a bodybuilding program for beginners. So, let me just talk about my experience. The first thing that I would like to point out is that when I started off the program, I'd say between 18 to 20%, maybe just a little bit more body fat. Okay. I was skinny fat. I weighed about 180 pounds. I was at that body fat percentage range, and I had no muscle. Okay. The first thing that I fucked up with was that I decided to do that program on a bulk. Okay. There was a cutting version of it that I could have done, but I thought that, with the lack of size that I had, it would have been a good idea to bulk because most of the weight that I would put on would have been muscle. I was wrong about that. When I finished the program, I would say, at between 24 to 25% body fat, and I don't think I was as strong as I would have been. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I did was that I did the cutting version. And the cutting version of the Jason Blaha 5x5 is pretty much just the exact same thing, except that the volume is reduced a bit. The 5x5 sets, which is the main working sets, would turn down to 3x5s, and then the accessory work, which was usually 3x8s, they would drop down to 2x8, so the volume dipped a little bit. And if I had done that cutting version while in a caloric deficit, losing some body fat, I feel like I would have put on some serious muscle mass and gained some strength. Oh, and the progression scheme changes a little bit too. In the original bulking version, or the main version, you would have to progress every single session. With the cutting version, you would progress every other session. Okay, so that's the first thing that I feel like I fucked up with. I should have done the cutting version, and I should have lost a little bit of fat, because at the end of it, I was at like 25% body fat, and just looking in the mirror made me regret it all. And I decided to like flip flop between caloric surplus, caloric deficit, being in that flip floppy mind, where I was feeling not as strong as I should be, so I feel like I needed to bulk. And then I felt too fat and I wanted to cut, and I just kept on going back and forth between that. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I did was that I did the cutting version, because I would have still made some serious gains, despite the fact I would have, no, let me rephrase that. I would have still made some serious gains, and I would have lost some fat. Okay, now the second thing that I want to talk about that I kind of experienced with the Jason Blaha 5x5 program was that I personally got really, really greedy for gains, okay? And let me tell you what I did, okay? I was so greedy for gains that I would sacrifice form just so that I could get some more reps out. Let me give you a specific example. When it came to the squat, okay, I would always take advantage of the stretch reflex at the bottom and dive bomb the weight just so that I could bounce out of the hole, okay? And my technique would have gone to shit. I lost all tightness, and by the time I was squatting between the 250 to 260 range for weights, my squat looked so ugly. I was pretty much twerking on the way up, okay? Like my hips would, like I would come out of the hole, and then I think it was my left hip would rise up before my right hip, and I would come up all crooked, and my friends would say that I was twerking on my way up. Okay, so that's something that I wish I had been more conscious of, staying tight and actually executing properly, as opposed to just chasing the weight on the bar. Okay, I just got addicted to seeing the weights going up, and that was one of the things that I did in order to see the weights go up even more, dive bombing and taking advantage of the stretch reflex at the bottom, and I lost all tightness and my form went to shit. Okay, in addition to that, tying into the first point, because I love seeing the weight on the bar going up, I would eat like a motherfucker, and I ended up fat as hell on my first bulk, from skinny fat to pretty much obese, and not as strong as you thought as you would think that I would have been. In addition to that, another really specific example of me just wanting to add weight too much was on my deadlift. I think I tweaked my back like 6 to 7 months into the program, and that put me out of commission for a little bit. I think it was about a month or two before I actually decided, before I could start squatting and deadlifting properly again without any pain. Anyways, guys, those are two of the things that I learned from my first ever strength training program. I got greedy for gains and just didn't. I'm like, fucked up on my form, and I bulked when I probably should have cut it, and I would have still made strength and muscle gains to begin with, because I was a newbie. Anyways, guys, I am out. Peace.